again, a lot of inaccuracies, as Congressman Cummings made clear this morning. Maybe the heat is getting to everybody. We all have a responsibility to get this right. I have released 55,000 pages of emails. I have said repeatedly that I will answer questions before the House committee. We are all accountable to the American people to get the facts right, and I will do my part.
Since when is she accountable? James Taranto, columnist for the Wall Street Journal, editor of OpinionJournal.com, joins us. James, you wrote a great piece, "Dog is Bitten by Man," and that's a reference to the whole New York Times changing their story and on the basis of two inspectors general asking the Justice Department for an investigation. So is this helping her in some kind of silly way?
Well, it's hard to see how it would be. She, I think, rather ably and aggressively turned this back on the New York Times, which I saw their public editor has a piece up by basically saying, and quoting editors as saying, they screwed up this story. They had originally reported it was a criminal investigate or criminal referral, and then it turned out they said it wasn't a criminal referral. You mentioned my headline, "Dog is Bitten by Man." That's because the lead sentence of the story changed from and I'm paraphrasing here, they asked for a referral as to whether Mrs. Clinton misused her email to they asked for a referral as to whether anything inappropriate was done. So they went from the active voice to the passive voice, probably based on it probably was more accurate. The referral, which I don't think anyone has actually seen outside the government, probably did not say they were investigating Mrs. Clinton, but that would be the clear implication.
But her staff, called the New York Times and complained to them, and then they said, "Oh yeah, good point," and they changed. I'm sure they would do that for most Republicans as well.
Well, they might if indeed it were a good point. The problem is then the Clinton campaign turned around and basically said this story has been completely discredited. They turned it into an attack on the New York Times.
Right.
Meanwhile, my newspaper, the Wall Street Journal, had a news story on Friday that reported that according to sources in the government, 4 of the emails Mrs. Clinton sent were classified at the time she sent them. Or perhaps they were received, I can't remember, but there were 4 classified emails that passed through Mrs. Clinton's account, which is contrary to her denials.
Right, and that's out of a small sample of about 40 of the emails. So if that's, there was a very small sample. If you extend it to thousands of emails, chances are, statistically, you would get a lot more. All right.
Well, we don't know about that. In fairness, we don't know how they selected the 40 to look at. It could be that that was an unrepresentative sample.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. No.
But nonetheless, as it is correct to say that this was far from a comprehensive search.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. All right. Let's just focus for a second here on Mike Huckabee and the response to what he said. Everyone from Jeb Bush to Debbie Wasserman Schultz to the ADL has demanded an apology, a retraction. Said what Huckabee said about Obama leading the Jews to the ovens is wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. We had Rick Santorum on, who's shocked by the pushback on it and defended Huckabee. What do you think?
Well, I thought what he said was the Iran deal is leading the Jews to the ovens. Look, I think when you raise a Holocaust analogy and mainstream Jewish organizations who are not necessarily sympathetic to the Iran deal say that goes too far, it probably goes too far. One ought to be careful in raising Nazi analogies. I'm reminded of a couple of years ago when John Kerry was trying to sell the idea of strikes against Syria, and he kept going around on the Sunday news stories saying, "This is a Munich moment. This is a Munich moment." It's the kind of overreaction one isn't used to hearing from Kerry, but it just seemed like a ridiculous overreaction, whatever the merits might have been. So I think it was an unwise thing for Huckabee to say.
Well, by the way, the quote as I have it, it's so naive that he, Obama, would trust the Iranians. By doing so, he will take the Israelis and march them to the door of the oven. So whether it's, of course, he's referring to the deal, but he's also referring to Obama at the same time.
So it's more inflammatory than I had thought.
Okay, there you go. And quickly, last 30 seconds or so, Donald Trump, The polls keep coming out. He keeps leading.
Yeah, you know, it's much too early to say whether this is going to last or not. I'm looking forward to the debate next week. I'm kind of hoping he flames out, but we shall see.
We shall see. All right, James, great to talk to you, sir, as always. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Up next, folks, the Malzberg panel. But Newsmax wants to send one lucky couple on a 7-day Silver Sea cruise to the Caribbean this winter. The luxury cruise aboard the Silver Wind is the trip of a lifetime. To win, you need to enter our sweepstakes. So visit newsmax.com/sweepstakes. That's newsmax.com/sweepstakes. Enter and good luck. And we'll be watching for you.